I heard my dad talking about me. He didn't know the call was still connected. Emma felt her world collapse when she heard her father's words through the phone. She had called him asking for help with her schoolwork, but when she went to grab her notebook from her room, the call remained connected without either of them realizing. That's when she heard Michael's voice talking to someone. "Look, I don't know what to do with Emma anymore. That girl is giving me so much trouble. Sometimes I think it would be better if she just went to live with her mom for good." The words pierced the teenager's chest like a blade. Emma gripped the phone tightly, her hands trembling. She had rushed back to grab the phone, but now she wished she had never heard any of it. Her father kept talking, unaware she was listening to every word. Ever since Jennifer moved to Chicago, Emma has been impossible. She's always sulking, barely talks to me, and when she does, it's just to complain or ask for money. I work like crazy to support this household, and she doesn't even acknowledge the effort I put in. Emma felt her eyes well up with tears. She knew things hadn't been great between her and her dad since her parents' separation 8 months ago, but she never imagined he felt this way about her. On the other end of the line, she heard what sounded like her Uncle David, Michael's brother. "Bro, teenagers are all like that. Christine went through that phase too. Remember how difficult she was at 16? But Emma's different, David. She used to be such an affectionate little girl, always clinging to me. Now it's like she hates me. Just yesterday she said she wished she'd stayed with her mum when Jennifer moved away. That broke my heart." The girl stifled a sob. It was true. She had said that during an argument, but only because she was mad at him for not letting her go to the movies with her friends. She had no idea those words had hurt him so deeply. And the worst part is, I feel like I'm failing as a father. Jennifer was always better at handling teenage stuff. I feel lost, David. Sometimes I wonder if it really would be better to give Jennifer full custody. Emma quickly hung up, unable to bear listening any longer. Tears streamed down her face as she threw herself onto the bed. Her father wanted to get rid of her. Every fight, every argument from the past few months took on a new meaning. She wasn't just a difficult daughter. She was a burden Michael wanted to hand off to her mom. The teenager looked around the room she shared with her father in their small 2-bedroom apartment in Tampa. The walls still had some drawings she'd made when she was little, and Michael had never had the heart to take them down. On the shelf, her books shared space with his. There were photos of the two of them together throughout her childhood. But now, all of it felt like a lie. Michael appeared in the doorway a few minutes later, slipping his phone into his pocket. He noticed his daughter's red face but misunderstood the reason. "Emma, sorry for the delay. I had to take a work call. You said you needed help with something for school." The girl quickly wiped her eyes and tried to hide her emotions. She couldn't look at her father without remembering the words she'd overheard. How could he pretend so well? How could he act like a loving dad when he really just wanted to be rid of her? "Never mind. I figured it out on my own," she replied, her voice thick. Michael sensed something off in his daughter's tone, but assumed it was just another one of her mood swings. For months now, Emma had been like this, sometimes affectionate, other times closed off and distant. He truly didn't know how to handle her sudden shifts anymore. "Are you sure? I can help. What was it again?" "I said I don't need help anymore," Emma repeated, sharper this time. Michael sighed. There it was again, that invisible wall between them. No matter how hard he tried to get closer, Emma always found a way to push him away. He felt like he was walking on eggshells all the time, never knowing whether his daughter would react calmly or blow up over the smallest thing. "All right, call me if you need anything. I'll make dinner." When Michael left the room, Emma finally let herself cry freely. How had things gotten to this point? She remembered when she was little and her father was her hero. Michael worked as an electronics technician at a shop in downtown Tampa, and whenever he came home from work, he always brought her a little surprise. A piece of candy, a drawing a customer had given him, or just funny stories from his day. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us as we're just starting out. Now back to the story where weekends were special. Michael would take Emma to the beach, teach her how to fly kites by the shore, and on Sundays they'd cook together. Jennifer always complained about the mess the two of them made in the kitchen, but Michael said those were the most important moments of his week. But everything changed when Jennifer got a promotion in Chicago. The argument about moving dragged on for months. Michael didn't want to leave Tampa, where he had his job and his life settled. Jennifer argued that the opportunity in Chicago was once in a lifetime, that they could have a better life there. Emma, 15 at the time, was caught in the crossfire. The final decision was that Jennifer would move alone first to get settled in the new city. Emma would stay with Michael until the end of the school year, and then they'd reevaluate. But what was supposed to be temporary became permanent when Jennifer met Robert, a co-worker, and started a relationship. The divorce was amicable, at least on the surface. Michael never spoke badly about Jennifer in front of Emma, even when he found out about his ex-wife's new relationship. But the teenager could feel her father's sadness, no matter how hard he tried to hide it. Michael spent his nights watching TV alone, scrolling through his phone with a distant look in his eyes. Emma missed her mother too, but she didn't want to hurt her father by admitting it. Jennifer called every day, sent gifts, and always insisted Emma spend a few weeks in Chicago. But the girl felt torn. How could she leave Michael alone? At the same time, how could she not miss her mother? Things got even more complicated when Emma started noticing her father's financial struggles. Michael never complained, but she could tell he'd stopped buying things for himself. The fridge was emptier. He started bringing lunch to work instead of eating out, and he cancelled the cable TV. When Emma asked about the changes, Michael always said he was just getting his finances in order. But the teenager knew keeping up the house alone was hard for him. Jennifer sent money to help with Emma's expenses, but Michael refused to accept anything beyond what was strictly necessary for his daughter. All of this made the relationship between father and daughter even more strained. Emma felt guilty for being a burden to Michael, but didn't know how to say it. Instead of talking, she shut down or snapped at him whenever he tried to reach out. Michael, in turn, took his daughter's behavior as rejection or ingratitude. The breaking point had come the week before, when Emma asked for money to buy a book for a school project. Michael said he didn't have it right then, and suggested she borrow it from the library. Emma exploded, saying if she were with her mother, she wouldn't have to deal with situations like this. The words came out without thinking, fueled by frustration, but they caused enormous damage to their relationship. Now lying in bed and replaying the conversation she had overheard, Emma realized how deeply her words had hurt her father. But at the same time, knowing that Michael was considering giving custody to Jennifer left her completely lost. Did he really not want her around anymore? Dinner passed in silence. Michael had made pasta with tomato sauce, one of Emma's favorite dishes when she was little. He tried to start a conversation a few times, asking about school, about her friends, but received only one-word answers. "Emma, did something happen today? You're being very quiet." Michael tried again. The girl looked up from her plate and stared at him. For a moment she wanted to tell him everything, to say she had overheard his conversation with Uncle David, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, she felt a wave of anger. "Why do you even care?" she snapped, pushing her plate away. Michael sighed, trying to keep his patience. These outbursts had become common in recent weeks, and he truly didn't know the best way to respond. "I care because you're my daughter, Emma. Why would you ask something like that?" "Maybe because I can tell when someone doesn't want me around anymore," she replied, standing up from the table. The words carried a deep pain Michael couldn't understand. He watched as his daughter walked away toward her room, completely confused about what had triggered her reaction. Emma locked her bedroom door and threw herself onto the bed again. Part of her wanted to confront her father about what she'd heard, but another part was afraid to confirm her worst fears. What if Michael actually admitted he wanted to get rid of her? What if he confessed he was tired of being a father? The teenager's phone rang. It was Jennifer. "Hi, sweetheart. How was your day?" Emma hesitated. Whenever she spoke to her mother, she tried to sound cheerful so as not to worry her. But right now, she couldn't fake it. "Mom, can I ask you something?" "Of course, honey. What is it?" "Do you think Dad is okay?" I mean, does he seem happy living just with me? Jennifer noticed something odd in her daughter's voice. Emma didn't usually ask questions like this. Normally, when they talked about Michael, the teenager would say everything was fine and quickly change the subject. Why are you asking that, Emma? Did something happen? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm a burden to him, like it would be easier if I weren't here. On the other end of the line, Jennifer's heart tightened. She knew her daughter well enough to sense there was more behind those words. Emma, your father loves you very much. You know that, right? He chose to stay with you in Tampa because he couldn't bear the thought of being apart from you. But what if he changed his mind? What if he thinks now it was a mistake? Jennifer grew concerned by her daughter's tone. Emma sounded genuinely distressed, not like the other times she'd complained about her father for some specific reason. Sweetheart, do you want to tell me what really happened? Did you two fight? Emma almost told her about the phone call but held back. If she told her mother, Jennifer would surely call Michael, and then he'd find out she had overheard the conversation. That would make everything even more awkward. No, Mom. I just sometimes think about these things. Emma, do you want to come stay with me in Chicago for a few days? It's been a while since we've seen each other in person. Her mother's suggestion came at the perfect time. Emma really wanted to escape the situation, at least temporarily. Maybe a few days away would help her process everything that had happened. Can I? Wouldn't it be too much trouble for you? Of course you can, honey. You would never be a burden to me. How about next weekend? I can come pick you up Saturday morning. Okay, but do you think Daddy will let me? Leave it to me. I'll talk to him. After hanging up the phone, Emma felt a little better. At least she'd have a few days to think things through more clearly. Maybe being away from Michael would help her understand her own feelings better and figure out how to handle the situation. In the living room, Michael was washing the dinner dishes when the phone rang. It was Jennifer. Hi, Michael, how are you? Hi, Jennifer, I'm fine. And you? I'm good too. Listen, I just talked to Emma and she seemed a little off. Did you two have a fight? Michael paused, drying his hands on the dish towel. He really didn't know how to answer that question. Technically, they hadn't fought, but the tension had been there for weeks. Not exactly, but she's different, more closed off, you know. Sometimes I feel like I did something wrong, but I don't know what. Michael, teenagers are like that. Remember how she was at 12, 13? Always clinging to us, wanting to be part of everything. Now she's figuring out who she is. It's normal for her to be more reserved. I know that, Jennifer, but it's not just that. She seems annoyed with me all the time, like my very presence bothers her. Jennifer could hear the sadness in her ex-husband's voice. She knew Michael well enough to tell he was really struggling with this. What if she came to stay with me in Chicago for a few days? Maybe a change of scenery would help you both gain some perspective. Michael hesitated. Part of him thought it would be good for Emma to spend time with her mother, but another part felt like he was failing, like he was admitting he couldn't handle his own daughter. Do you think it would help? I do. And Michael, this doesn't mean you're failing as a father. Sometimes we all need a little space to breathe and think. Okay. When do you want to pick her up? How about Saturday morning? I can get there around 9 and head back to Chicago the same day. Perfect. I'll let Emma know. After hanging up, Michael stared at the phone for a few minutes. Maybe Jennifer was right. Maybe a few days apart would be good for both of them. He could use the time to sort out his thoughts and figure out where he was going wrong with his daughter. Michael went to Emma's room and knocked. Emma, can I come in? Sure. He opened the door and found his daughter lying on her bed, scrolling through her phone. Emma looked up when he entered, trying to read his expression. I just talked to your mom. She invited you to spend a few days in Chicago next weekend. What do you think? Emma tried not to show her relief. Michael was agreeing to exactly what she wanted, but it also confirmed her suspicion that he really did want her gone, at least for a little while. If you want me to go, I'll go. His daughter's answer caught Michael off guard. He expected her to be excited about seeing her mother, not to react so indifferently. It's not about what I want, Emma. It's about what you want. Do you want to see your mom? I do. but I also know you want me to go." Michael was confused by her accusatory tone. Why was she making this about him trying to get rid of her? "Emma, where is this coming from? I only asked because your mom invited you. If you don't want to go, just say so, it's fine." "Okay, Dad, I do want to go." The conversation ended awkwardly, with Michael leaving the room feeling like something was still off. Emma, for her part, had confirmed her suspicions that her father was eager to have a few days without her around. The days leading up to Saturday passed in a tense atmosphere. Michael tried to be affectionate, but Emma interpreted every gesture as guilt for wanting to get rid of her. When he offered to help with homework, she saw it as an attempt to ease his conscience. When he cooked something special, she thought it was to make up for wanting to send her away. Michael, in turn, felt that the more he tried to get closer, the more Emma pulled away. He began to wonder if he was really doing something wrong or if it was just a phase of adolescence. On Friday night, Michael made one last attempt. He bought pizza, their favorite snack they used to share on weekends when Emma was younger, and put on a movie. "Emma, come watch a movie with me? I got the pizza you like." The girl was in her room, packing for the trip the next day. For a moment, she wanted to accept the invitation. She missed those moments with her father, even if she wouldn't admit it. But the memory of the conversation she'd overheard stopped her from giving in. "I can't, Dad. I have to finish packing." Michael stayed in the living room alone, eating pizza and watching TV, but his mind was entirely focused on his daughter. How had things changed so much? A year ago, Emma would have run to the living room as soon as he mentioned pizza and a movie. Now she'd rather stay locked in her room than spend time with him. He thought about the conversation he'd had with David a few days earlier. Maybe his brother was right when he said Michael was overreacting. Maybe Emma was just going through a tough phase and would soon go back to being the sweet girl she used to be. But Michael couldn't shake the feeling that he was losing his daughter. Not to another city or another person, but to indifference. Emma was physically present but emotionally distant, and he had no idea how to regain the closeness they once had. In her room, Emma was also thinking about the situation. Part of her wanted to go downstairs and watch the movie with her father, like they used to. But the hurt from what she'd overheard was stronger. How could she act normal, knowing Michael had considered the possibility of giving custody to Jennifer? The night passed slowly for both of them. Michael slept poorly, wondering if he was making the right decision by letting Emma go to Chicago. Emma also had a restless night, dreaming of confusing conversations where her father said things she couldn't fully understand. On Saturday morning, Jennifer arrived promptly at 9. She immediately noticed the tension in the air when Michael opened the door. Her ex-husband wore a forced smile, and Emma came downstairs with her suitcase, her expression closed off. "Good morning," Jennifer greeted them, kissing Michael on the cheek and hugging Emma. "Good morning, Mom." Michael helped load the suitcase into the car and said goodbye to his daughter with a hug. Emma returned the hug, but mechanically, without the warmth she used to have. "Have fun, okay? And call me if you need anything." "Okay, Dad." Jennifer could tell something was definitely off between them, but decided to wait to talk to Emma when they were alone. She waved goodbye to Michael and drove off toward the highway. For the first hour of the trip, Emma stayed quiet, staring out the window and answering her mother's questions with monosyllables. Jennifer respected her daughter's silence, but when they stopped at a gas station, she decided to try a more direct approach. "Emma, are you going to tell me what's going on? Or are we spending the whole weekend with you sulking?" The girl looked at her mother, weighing whether to tell the truth. Jennifer had always been easier to talk to than Michael. She had a more straightforward way of dealing with problems, no beating around the bush. "Mum, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Do you think Dad regrets staying with me in Tampa?" The question caught Jennifer completely off guard. She knew Michael well enough to be sure he would never regret being with his daughter. On the contrary, when they separated, his biggest concern had been not being able to see Emma every day. "Where did you get that idea, Emma?" "Sometimes I feel like he'd rather be alone, like I'm just a burden to him." Jennifer stopped walking and turned to face her daughter. Now she understood the strange tension she had sensed at Michael's house. Emma, your father loves you more than anything in the world. When we decided to separate, the only thing he asked for was to keep you. He even considered moving to Chicago just so he wouldn't be far from you. But things have changed, Mom. I can tell he's tired of me. Honey, you need to tell me what happened. Did something specific make you think this, or is it just a feeling? Emma took a deep breath. Maybe it really was time to tell someone the truth. A few days ago, I called Dad for help with a school assignment. When I went to get my notebook from his room, I left the phone on. When I came back, I heard him talking to Uncle David. And what did you hear? He said he didn't know what to do with me anymore, that I was too much trouble, and that sometimes he thought it would be better if I just moved in with you for good. Jennifer's heart ached. Now she fully understood her daughter's reaction. If Emma had heard Michael say those things, it was only natural she'd feel rejected and hurt. Emma, are you sure that's exactly what your father was saying? Yes, Mom. I heard it with my own ears. He said I was always sulking, that I only talked to him to complain or ask for money. He said he felt lost and was thinking about giving you full custody. Jennifer hugged her daughter, who finally let herself cry. All the pain and confusion of the past few days poured out in tears. Listen to me, sweetheart. Your father is going through a really tough time. The separation was hard on him, and raising you alone, being a man with little experience with teenagers, has been a huge challenge. But that doesn't excuse him wanting to get rid of me. Emma, when people feel desperate, they sometimes say things they don't truly mean. Your dad is probably feeling lost and inadequate as a father. That doesn't mean he doesn't love you or actually wants to send you away. Then why did he say it? Because when we're overwhelmed, we sometimes think of alternatives that seem easier in the moment, but that doesn't mean we truly want them. Emma wiped her eyes, trying to process her mother's words. What Jennifer was saying made sense, but it still hurt to know Michael had considered letting her go. Mom, do you think I'm a difficult daughter? I think you're a normal teenager going through a normal phase of life. And I think your dad is trying his best, but feels insecure because he lacks experience. But I haven't made it easy for him either. I've been really harsh, complaining about everything. And why do you think you've been acting that way? Emma thought for a moment before answering. It was hard to admit, but she knew part of her behavior came from feelings she couldn't properly express. I think I'm mad at him because you left. I know it's not his fault, but sometimes it feels like it is. And I also feel guilty for being a financial burden on him. Emma, your parents separated because of issues between adults that have nothing to do with you. And you were never, nor will you ever be, a burden to your father. He supports you with love, not obligation. But he's been having money troubles, Mom, I can tell. He cancelled the cable, stopped buying certain things. And when I ask for something, I see him get worried. Jennifer grew thoughtful. She sent money to Michael to help with Emma's expenses, but maybe it wasn't enough. Or perhaps Michael was going through difficulties he hadn't told her about. Sweetheart, I'll talk to your dad about this. But the important thing right now is for you to understand that no matter the struggles, he loves you very much. So what do I do, Mum? How do I fix this? First, you need to stop interpreting every little thing he does as rejection. Second, you two need to have an honest talk about how you're feeling. And third, maybe I need to step in more to help you both through this phase. They got back in the car and continued their drive toward Chicago. Emma felt a little better after talking to her mother, but she still had so many doubts about how to handle things when she returned to Tampa. In Chicago, Jennifer lived in a one-bedroom apartment in Wicker Park. It was smaller than the house Emma had grown up in back in Tampa, but it was cozy and had a nice view of the city. Robert wasn't there that weekend. He'd traveled for work, which gave mother and daughter more privacy to talk. Emma, do you miss living together as a family? I do, Mum, but I understand you weren't happy together anymore. It's just, sometimes I feel lost in the middle of all this. That's normal, sweetheart. Divorce is hard on the whole family, not just the parents. Over the weekend, Jennifer took Emma to see some places in Chicago she'd never visited. They went to Union Market, walked around downtown, and on Sunday, they visited Grant Park. It was good for Emma to have some distraction and forget about her problems with Michael for a while. But even while enjoying time with her mother, Emma couldn't stop thinking about the situation back in Tampa. She really wanted to fix things with her dad, but didn't know how to start that conversation. How could she bring up what she'd overheard without making Michael feel embarrassed or like his privacy had been violated? On Sunday evening, as Jennifer prepared dinner, Emma called Michael. "Hi, Dad." "Hi, sweetheart. How's the weekend going?" "It's been nice. Mom took me to see some cool places here." "That's great. You're having fun then?" "I am. And you? How's your weekend there?" Michael hesitated before answering. The weekend had felt off for him. The house was too quiet, and he'd caught himself thinking about Emma more than once, questioning their relationship. "It's been quiet. I took the chance to organize some things around the house." "Dad, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Are you okay with me living there? I mean, are you happy with our life in Tampa?" The question caught Michael off guard. It was unusually direct for Emma, who'd been avoiding deeper conversations lately. "Of course I'm okay, Emma. Why would you ask that? Sometimes I feel like I'm just extra work for you, like it'd be easier if I weren't there." Michael's chest tightened. Where had she gotten that idea? Had he given her the wrong impression somehow? "Emma, you're never work to me. You're the most important thing in my life. If I ever made you feel that way, I'm sorry. That's not what I meant at all. But sometimes you seem tired of me, Dad." "Sweetheart, I might be tired from work, from bills, from everyday worries, but never from you. But I'm never tired of you. Do you understand the difference?" Emma felt her eyes fill with tears. It was the first time in weeks she'd heard her father speak with such tenderness and sincerity. "I understand, Dad. Emma, when you come back, can we talk properly? I think we both need to clear the air. Maybe I haven't been a good father to you during this phase of your life, and maybe you've been holding back things you should tell me. Maybe, Dad. I want to talk to you too. Then it's settled. When you get here, we'll sit down and have a real conversation. No fighting, no misunderstandings. Just an honest talk between father and daughter." Deal. After hanging up, Emma felt more hopeful. Maybe it was possible to resolve things with Michael after all. Maybe they could regain the close relationship they'd once had. Jennifer, who had overheard part of the conversation, approached her daughter. "Did you talk to your dad?" "I did. He said he wants to talk when I get back." "And how do you feel about that?" "Scared, but also hopeful. I really want things to go back to how they were, Mom." "Then you'll make it happen, sweetheart. When two people love each other and want to fix things, they always find a way." The trip back to Tampa on Monday felt different from the way there. Emma was more upbeat, though still nervous about the conversation ahead with Michael. Jennifer also used the drive to offer some advice. "Emma, when you talk, be honest about your feelings, but try to understand his too. You're both going through a tough time and need to support each other." "I'll try, Mom. But what if he really is tired of me?" "Then you'll talk it through and find a solution together, but I'm sure that's not the case." When they arrived in Tampa, Michael was waiting outside the building. He'd left work early to greet Emma. Seeing her step out of the car, he felt a mix of relief and anxiety. "Hi, Dad," Emma said, hugging him more warmly than she had on Friday. "Hi, sweetheart. I missed you." Jennifer said goodbye and continued her drive back to Chicago. She'd promised to call that evening to hear how the talk with Michael went. Inside the apartment, father and daughter hesitated, unsure where to begin. Michael made a snack, and they sat at the kitchen table. "So, how was your weekend?" "It was good, Dad. Mom took me to see some nice places, but I kept thinking about you, about us." "Emma, about that conversation we agreed to have on the phone." "Dad, before we talk, I need to tell you something. Something that happened last week that really confused me." Michael stopped eating and focused on his daughter. Her serious tone told him this was important. "Go ahead." Emma took a deep breath. It was time to tell the truth. "Remember when I called you for help with my school project?" "I do." "When I went to get my notebook from my room, I forgot to hang up. When I came back, I heard you talking to Uncle David." Michael's stomach dropped. He remembered that conversation with his brother. Depending on what Emma had heard, it explained a lot about her strange behavior lately. "What did you hear?" "I heard you say you didn't know what to do with me anymore, that I was too much trouble, and that sometimes you thought it'd be better if I just lived with Mom full-time." Michael closed his eyes, overwhelmed by shame and sadness. This was exactly what he'd feared she'd overheard. "Emma." "Dad, I know you said that because you were feeling lost. Mom explained to me that sometimes when we're overwhelmed, we think of alternatives that seem easier. But it really hurt to hear that." Michael got up from his chair and knelt beside his daughter, holding her hands. "Emma, forgive me for you having to hear that. You weren't supposed to know I was going through that moment of doubt and insecurity. But was it true what you said?" "It was true that I was feeling lost, yes. It was true that I didn't know how to handle this phase of your life. But it wasn't true that I wanted to get rid of you." "What do you mean?" Michael went back to his chair and looked directly into his daughter's eyes. "Emma, when I talked to your uncle, I was desperate. I felt like I was failing as a father, that you were unhappy with me, that I couldn't make you smile like before. So yes, for a moment I wondered if you wouldn't be happier with your mom." "And did you come to any conclusion?" "I did. I realized that running from the problem wouldn't solve anything. That if I'm failing as a father, I need to learn to be better, not hand you off to someone else." Emma felt her eyes fill with tears, but this time they were tears of relief. "Dad, you're not failing. I haven't been making things easy either. I've been really harsh with you, and it's not because I don't love you." "Then why, sweetheart?" "Because I'm confused about everything that's happened in our family. Because I miss Mom, but I don't want to leave you alone. Because I feel guilty that you have to support me by yourself. Because sometimes I'm angry at you for you two separating, even though I know it's not your fault." Michael was moved by his daughter's honesty. Finally, they were able to talk about the real feelings causing all that tension. "Emma, it's normal for you to feel all these things. It's normal to be angry, to feel guilty, to be confused. You're a teenager going through your parents' separation. It would be strange if you didn't feel any of this. But I don't want you to think I don't love you because of it. And I don't want you to think I want to get rid of you just because sometimes I feel unsure about how to be a dad." Father and daughter hugged, and for the first time in months, Emma felt like they were truly connecting again. "Dad, can you promise me something?" "Of course." "Next time you feel lost or unsure, talk to me instead of talking to other people about me." "I promise. And can you promise me that next time you feel angry or confused, you'll talk to me instead of shutting yourself in your room?" "I promise." They spent the rest of the night talking. Emma told Michael about the insecurities she'd been feeling, the financial guilt, the longing for her mum. Michael, in turn, talked about his fears of not being able to raise a teenage daughter alone, the pressure of being both father and mother, the loneliness he sometimes felt. It was a long and sometimes painful conversation, but it was also freeing. Both realized they had been creating unnecessary problems by not communicating properly. "Emma, about the financial issue you mentioned." "What is it, Dad?" "You're right that I've been having some struggles, not because of you, but because maintaining a household alone is different from when we were 3 people splitting expenses. But that doesn't mean you're a burden to me. Can I help somehow? Maybe get a part-time job or—" "No, Emma. Your job right now is to study. I'll figure out the financial situation. Maybe I'll talk to your mom about adjusting the support she sends, or maybe I'll look for some extra income. Dad, would you talk to Mom about the possibility of her moving back to Tampa?" The question caught Michael by surprise. He had never considered that possibility, especially after learning about Jennifer's relationship with Robert. "Emma, your mother has a new life in Chicago. I don't think she'd come back. But what if you two got back together?" Michael smiled fondly at his daughter's naivety. It was natural for Emma to still hold on to hope of seeing her parents together again. "Sweetheart, sometimes when 2 people separate, it's because they truly can't be happy together anymore. Your mother and I split up for serious reasons, not over some fleeting argument." "I understand, Dad. It's just..." Sometimes I still hope. And there's nothing wrong with hoping, but it's also important to accept reality and learn to be happy with the life we have now. Are you happy, Dad, with the life we have now? Michael thought carefully before answering. It was a complicated question, one that stirred up many emotions. I'm happy to have you with me, Emma. I'm happy when I see you growing into such an incredible person. Sometimes I miss the complete family we once had, but that doesn't mean I'm not happy with our life now. And I'm happy to be here with you too, Dad. Even when I'm moody or sharp, I've never wanted to be anywhere else. This conversation marked a turning point in Michael and Emma's relationship. In the days that followed, both made a conscious effort to communicate better and be more patient with each other. Michael started including Emma in household decisions, talking to her about budgeting, future plans, and the challenges he faced. Emma, in turn, began opening up more about her feelings and showing affection for her father more spontaneously. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot, as we're just starting out. Now continuing. But not everything was magically resolved. There were still moments of tension, especially when Emma went through typical teenage mood swings. Michael also still felt unsure in some situations, particularly when his daughter faced problems he didn't know how to help with. One such situation arose a few weeks later when Emma came home crying over an issue at school. Two of her classmates had spread a rumor that she had gotten together with one of their boyfriends, which wasn't true. Emma was being avoided by part of the class and felt completely isolated. Dad, I don't know what to do anymore. No one believes me when I say nothing happened. Michael felt lost. Teenage relationship drama was completely unfamiliar territory for him. His first instinct was to suggest Emma talk to the school principal, but she explained that would only make things worse. Emma, what if you talk to your mum about this? She might have a better perspective on how to handle this kind of situation. You think so? I do. And I also think it might be good for you and your mum to have regular conversations about these girl things, you know? I can help with a lot, but some situations are just better understood by a mother. Emma called Jennifer and explained everything. Her mother, indeed, had a different approach than Michael would have taken. She advised Emma to talk directly to the two classmates who had spread the rumor, calmly but firmly, and demand they take it back. Sweetheart, the more you avoid the situation, the more people will believe it's true. You need to face it head on. But what if they won't listen to me? Then you'll have to be persistent and, if necessary, involve their parents. But first, try to resolve it through conversation. Jennifer's strategy worked. Emma managed to talk to her two classmates who admitted to making up the rumor out of jealousy. They apologized publicly and the situation was resolved. Michael was impressed by Jennifer's effective approach and realized there really were some situations where a woman's perspective was essential. This made him rethink how to structure Emma's upbringing so she could access both viewpoints. Emma, how about we agree that you talk to me about certain things and your mum about others? Not that you can't come to either of us about anything, but so you're clear on who might help best in each situation. What do you mean? For example, school problems, relationship issues, things about growing up as a girl. Maybe it's better to talk to your mum first. Money matters, future plans, or house-related things, you talk to me. And for big life decisions, you talk to both of us. That makes sense, Dad. And maybe we could do video calls with Mom sometimes so she can be more involved in our routine. Good idea. How about every Sunday night? Perfect. This new arrangement helped the family a lot. Emma began to feel more supported, with her dad's help for some matters and her mum's for others. Michael felt less pressure to be an expert on topics he didn't truly understand, and Jennifer felt more at ease knowing she was actively involved in her daughter's life. The Sunday video calls became a special time for all three. Jennifer shared updates about her week in Chicago, Michael talked about work and house projects, and Emma shared news from school and her friendships. It was during one of these calls that Jennifer made a surprising suggestion. I've been thinking about something. What if we tried to arrange for me to spend a few weekends a month in Tampa? What do you mean, Mum? I could come Friday night and leave Sunday. It'd be a way for me to be more involved in your routine, and it'd also give Michael time to go out, see friends, and have some social life. Michael was surprised by the idea. He hadn't had a social life in months since the separation. All his weekends were dedicated to Emma, which was good, but sometimes he missed talking to adult friends. Jennifer, don't you think it'd be too much for you? Tampa, Chicago every week? Not every week, Michael, maybe twice a month. And it wouldn't be too much because I love spending time with Emma. It's different when you do something because you want to, not because you have to. What about Robert? Would he be okay with it? I already talked to him. He understands Emma is a priority for me, and he also thinks it's important for her to see me regularly. Emma was thrilled at the possibility. Having her mum around more, even sporadically, was all she wanted. Mum, that would be amazing. We could do so many things together. Then let's try it, okay? Michael, what do you think? I think it'd be great for both of you. And I'll admit, it'd be nice for me to have some free time on weekends too. Jennifer's first visit happened 2 weeks later. She arrived Friday night and was greeted with huge excitement by Emma. Michael had prepared the living room couch for Jennifer to sleep on, and they had dinner together as a family. On Saturday, Michael took the chance to meet up with friends he hadn't seen in months. It felt strange at first, being without Emma after so long, but it was also refreshing. He got to talk about things other than parenting, work, or family responsibilities. Jennifer and Emma spent the day doing things they had missed doing together: cooking, watching movies, talking about girl stuff, doing their nails. For Emma, it was like reclaiming a part of herself that had been dormant. On Sunday, the three of them spent time together. They went to the beach, had lunch at a restaurant they used to visit when they were married, and in the afternoon they returned home so Jennifer could pack her things and head back to Chicago. "How was your weekend?" Michael asked as Jennifer was saying goodbye. "It was perfect, Dad. I really missed these moments with Mom. And it was wonderful for me too. Thank you for agreeing to this. Jennifer, can I tell you something?" "Of course, Michael." "Seeing you two together today made me realize how much Emma needs you. Not just to talk about problems, but to have these mother-daughter bonding moments. I felt that too, and I can see you're doing an amazing job with her, Michael. Emma is growing up so well. We're doing it together, each in our own way." This new family dynamic settled into a routine. Jennifer visited Tampa twice a month, Emma had special moments with her mother, and Michael got a chance to take a breather and focus on himself. The relationship between the three became more balanced and harmonious. But not everything was perfect. During this time, new challenges arose that tested the stability they had worked so hard to build. The first challenge came when Michael lost his job. The store where he worked was struggling financially and had to lay off several employees. Michael was one of them. The news came on a Thursday, and he was desperate, unsure how to break it to Emma. He had just managed to stabilize their finances, and now everything was at risk again. Michael decided to tell Emma that same day, sticking to their agreement to be honest with each other about hardships. "Emma, I need to tell you something. I lost my job today." The girl stopped what she was doing and looked at her father with concern. "What happened?" "The store is having financial trouble and had to let several people go. I was one of them." "So, what do we do now, Dad?" Michael saw the fear in his daughter's eyes and knew he had to project confidence even if he didn't feel it. "We'll figure it out, Emma. I'll look for another job, and in the meantime, we have some savings to cover expenses for a while." "How long?" "About 2 months if we're careful." Emma was worried but also admired her father's honesty. Months earlier, he would have tried to hide the situation from her to avoid upsetting her. "Dad, is there anything I can do to help?" "Not right now. Your job is to focus on school, but maybe we can cut back on some unnecessary expenses until I find another job." "Like what?" "We could cancel some non-essential services, eat out less, things like that." "What if you don't find a job in 2 months? Then we'll talk to your mum about our options. But let's stay positive for now, okay?" Emma agreed, but remained deeply worried. She didn't want their financial situation to force any drastic changes, especially now that they had finally found balance. During their Sunday video call, Michael told Jennifer about the situation. She offered to help financially while he looked for work, but Michael hesitated. "Michael, this isn't about pride or favors. It's about making sure Emma has stability." "I know, Jennifer, but I hate feeling dependent on you." "You're not becoming dependent. You're accepting help during a tough time. There's a difference." "What do you think, Emma?" "Dad, I think you should accept Mom's help, at least while you look for another job." Michael ended up accepting Jennifer's help, but he promised to pay her back as soon as he got back on his feet professionally. The job search turned out to be harder than Michael had imagined. The market was tough, and he couldn't find anything in electronics that paid a salary matching his needs. After a month of unsuccessful searching, Michael started considering alternatives. David, his brother, offered him a chance to work at an auto repair shop, but Michael had no experience in the field. "Bro, the job isn't complicated. It's more about organization and customer service. The shop owner needs someone reliable, and I put in a good word for you." "But David, I don't know anything about cars." "You won't be working on the cars, Michael. You'll handle the administrative side, customer service, that kind of thing, and the pay is good, almost what you made at the store." Michael decided to take the opportunity. It was a completely new field for him, but at least it was a job, and he was desperate to start earning a steady income again. The work at the shop turned out to be more challenging than Michael had expected. The environment was very different from the electronics store. The pace was faster, and he had to quickly learn about estimates, car parts, and dealing with suppliers. In the first few days, Michael came home exhausted and discouraged. He felt like he wasn't doing well in the new job and was afraid of getting fired again. Emma noticed her father's state and tried to cheer him up. "Dad, you've only been there a week. It's normal to take some time to adjust." "But Emma, I feel completely lost. It's like I have to learn a whole new profession at 45. And that's okay. You've always been good at learning new things. Remember when you learned how to use the computer to help me with my school projects?" Michael smiled. Emma was right. He had always managed to adapt when needed. "That's true. Maybe I'm just being too anxious. And besides, Uncle David recommended you. He wouldn't have done that if he wasn't sure you could handle it." With his daughter's support, Michael grew more confident in the new job. After a few weeks, he started feeling more comfortable and even discovered he liked the shop's dynamic. The shop owner, Mr. Richard, was a 60-year-old man who valued responsible and hard-working employees. He noticed Michael's effort and began trusting him with bigger responsibilities. "Michael, you've got a knack for this. You're learning fast and the customers like you." "Thank you, Mr. Richard. I'm trying my best to do a good job." "And you are. In fact, I'm thinking of giving you a commission for any services you bring into the shop. How does that sound?" The possibility of earning commission motivated Michael. If he could bring in clients, he could increase his income and gain more financial stability. Michael started promoting the shop's services among friends and neighbors. His honest and trustworthy manner won over several clients who began seeking out the shop based on his referrals. In no time, Michael was not only secure in his job, but also earning more than he had at the electronics store. The family's financial situation stabilized again, and he was able to pay back the money Jennifer had lent him. Emma was proud of how her father had handled the crisis. Michael also felt more confident in his ability to overcome challenges and provide for his daughter. "Dad, see how you managed to turn things around?" "I did, sweetheart. And you know what was most important?" "What?" "Talking to you about the situation instead of trying to hide it. That gave me the strength to keep trying. And I felt important that you trusted me." This episode strengthened the bond between Michael and Emma even more. They realized they could face challenges together, as a true team. But new trials were on the horizon. Emma was in her senior year of high school and needed to start thinking about the future. Discussions about college and career brought a new source of tension to the family. Emma was interested in studying psychology, but the program was only offered at private universities in the area, with high tuition fees. Michael wanted to support his daughter's dream, but was worried about the costs. "Emma, are you sure you want to study psychology?" "Yes, Dad. I've always been interested in understanding human behavior, in helping people. I think it would be a fulfilling career. Have you researched the job market, the employment opportunities? I have. Psychologists can work in many fields: clinics, hospitals, businesses, schools. There's a lot of demand. The problem, Emma, is that the universities around here that offer the program are expensive, and I'm not sure I can afford it. Emma was disappointed. She knew her father was doing his best for her, but she also understood their financial limitations. What if I applied for a scholarship? We can try, yes. But even with a scholarship, there would still be other expenses: transportation, materials, things like that. Dad, what if I worked while studying part-time to help with the costs? Michael was torn. On one hand, he wanted Emma to focus entirely on her studies. On the other, he knew covering the tuition alone would be difficult. Let's look at all the options before deciding anything. How about we talk to your mother about this? In their next video call, they discussed the college issue. Jennifer was willing to help financially, but Michael hesitated again. Michael, our daughter's education is both our responsibility. There's no reason for you to handle it alone. I know, Jennifer, but you've already helped by coming here on weekends. You helped when I was unemployed. And I can keep helping. Emma is my daughter too. Mum, what if we did it this way? You two split the tuition costs halfway, and I work part-time to cover my personal expenses. Emma's proposal pleased both parents. It was a way for everyone to contribute within their means. But Emma, if you're going to work part-time, it has to be something that doesn't interfere with your studies, Michael cautioned. I know, Dad, I can work hours that don't conflict with classes. And what would you like to do? I thought about tutoring English. I've always been good at it, and it's flexible. I can do it from home. Emma's idea pleased everyone. Tutoring would let her start gaining financial independence without compromising her studies. Michael and Jennifer organized themselves to split the tuition costs. Emma applied for the psychology program at the university and began studying intensively. The college prep period was intense for the whole family. Emma spent hours studying, Michael helped with subjects he could, and Jennifer visited Tampa more often to offer moral support. During this time, Emma met Tyler, a classmate from her prep course who was also applying for psychology. They began studying together, and their friendship quickly turned romantic. Michael grew concerned when Emma started talking about Tyler often. He worried a relationship might distract her from her studies. Emma, do you think this is the right time to start dating, with all the pressure of college applications? Dad, Tyler helps me a lot with my studies. We motivate each other. But aren't you two more focused on each other than on studying? No, Dad, quite the opposite. Since we started studying together, my performance has improved. Michael tried to trust his daughter's judgment, but kept a close watch. He didn't want to be a controlling father, but he also didn't want Emma to lose focus on her college entrance exams. Jennifer had a different perspective when Emma told her about Tyler. Sweetheart, it's natural for you to be interested in someone at this age, and if you're supporting each other in your studies, it might even be a good thing. Mom understands these things better, right, Dad? Yeah, maybe I'm being too protective, Michael admitted. You're not too protective, Michael. It's normal to worry. But it's also important to trust Emma. Michael decided to get to know Tyler better before forming a final opinion. He invited the young man over for dinner and was pleasantly impressed. Tyler was polite, intelligent, and genuinely seemed interested in supporting Emma's studies. During dinner, he showed respect for Michael and demonstrated serious life goals. Tyler, what do your parents do? My dad is a history teacher at a public school, and my mom is a nurse. They've always encouraged me to study. And what's your plan after college? I want to specialize in clinical psychology and open my own practice, but I know it'll take a few years to get there. Michael appreciated the young man's maturity. Tyler didn't seem like just a teenage fling, but someone with serious plans who could be a positive influence on Emma. The college entrance exams were approaching quickly, and Emma grew more nervous by the day. She studied day and night, but still didn't feel prepared enough. Dad, what if I don't pass? What if all this effort is for nothing? Emma, you've prepared really well. No matter the result, I know you'll do your best. But what if my best isn't enough? Then we try again next year. It's not the end of the world. But then we'll have wasted money on prep courses for nothing. Michael realized the pressure was weighing heavily on his daughter. She had built up unrealistic expectations, as if her entire life depended on this one result. Emma, come here, sit next to me. The girl sat beside her father on the couch, and he hugged her tenderly. Sweetheart, I want you to understand something. Whether you pass these exams or not, you'll always be someone I'm proud of. But Dad, no buts. You're a smart, dedicated, caring girl. You'll achieve your dreams, whether it's this year or next. What matters is not giving up. What if I never make it? What if I'm not cut out for college? Emma, look at me. You're more than capable. You've always been an excellent student, always committed to everything you set your mind to. If you don't pass this year, it'll be because of nerves or luck, not because you lack ability. Her father's words reassured Emma. She needed to hear that she was loved and valued regardless of academic results. On exam day, Michael drove Emma to the university and waited outside the entire time. He knew his presence would comfort her. When Emma came out, she was exhausted but relieved. How was it, sweetheart? Hard, but I think I answered most of the questions. Now we wait for the results. No matter the outcome, I'm proud of you. The waiting period was tense for the whole family. Emma tried to stay busy, but it was impossible not to think about the exams. Michael and Jennifer tried to distract her, but they were anxious too. When the results came in, Emma had passed. She achieved a good score and secured her spot in the psychology program. The family's joy was immense. Dad, I did it. I got in. Michael hugged his daughter with tears in his eyes. All the effort, all the dedication, all the worry, it was all worth it in that moment. I knew you could do it, sweetheart. I'm so proud of you. Jennifer came all the way from Chicago to celebrate the results. The three of them dined at a special restaurant, and Michael made an emotional toast. To Emma, who taught us that with dedication and family support, we can achieve any dream. And to Dad, who never gave up on me, even when I was a difficult teenager, Emma replied. And to our family who learned that love overcomes any hardship, Jennifer added. Tyler also got into college, which made Emma even happier. They would start university together, supporting each other in this new journey. The start of college brought new challenges for Emma and the whole family. Their routine changed completely, with Emma leaving early for classes and coming home late. Michael missed having his daughter around all the time, but at the same time he was proud to see her growing and becoming independent. Emma started giving private English lessons to some neighbors and acquaintances. The extra income helped with her personal expenses and gave her a sense of independence she'd never experienced before. Dad, it's weird earning my own money. I feel more responsible for everything. And that's how it should be, Emma. You're becoming an independent woman. But sometimes I feel overwhelmed too. College, work, home. It's normal to feel that way at first. You'll learn to balance everything. Michael was also going through changes. With Emma more independent, he began to have more time for himself and thought about picking up some activities he'd left behind. Richard, the owner of the auto shop, had suggested that Michael take a technical course in business management to take on more responsibilities in the shop. It was a chance for professional growth, and Michael decided to take it. Emma, I'm going to start a technical course in the evenings. It'll be good for my career. That's great, Dad. We'll be students together. Yeah, never thought I'd be going back to school at 45. It's never too late to learn new things, right? The household dynamic changed with both of them studying. They helped each other, shared experiences about the challenges of being students, and supported one another through tough moments. Jennifer still visited Tampa twice a month, but now the visits felt different. Emma was more mature and independent, so their conversations were more between equals, less about a mother guiding her daughter. During one of these visits, Jennifer made an announcement that surprised Emma and Michael. I have some news to share. Robert and I are getting married. Emma was happy for her mother, but also felt a pang of sadness. In a way, Jennifer's marriage closed the chapter on the united family she still held in her heart. Congratulations, Mom. You deserve to be happy. Thank you, Emma. And Michael, I hope you're happy for me too. Of course I am, Jennifer. You deserve to find someone who makes you happy. Michael was sincere in wishing Jennifer well. He'd long since moved past the hurt of their separation and genuinely wanted his ex-wife to be happy. "Does this change anything for us?" Emma asked. "Nothing changes, sweetheart. I'll still come here whenever I can. Robert understands you're important to me." Jennifer's wedding took place a few months later, a small ceremony in Chicago. Emma was the maid of honor, and Michael was also invited. It was strange for him to be at his ex-wife's wedding, but it was also a freeing experience. "Dad, how do you feel being here?" "Happy for your mother, Emma, and at peace with myself." "Don't you ever want to get married again?" "Maybe one day. But for now I'm focused on other things, my work, my studies, our relationship. And I'm glad you're happy like this." The conversation about Michael's romantic future made Emma reflect on her own relationship with Tyler. They had been dating for almost a year, and the relationship was solid. Tyler had become part of the family, regularly joining Emma and Michael for dinner and even accompanying them on outings. One day, Tyler asked to speak with Michael privately. "Mr. Michael, I'd like to talk to you about my relationship with Emma." Michael grew uneasy. Did Tyler want to ask for his daughter's hand? They were still too young for that. "Go ahead, Tyler. I want you to know that I love Emma very much and that I intend to build a future with her. I know we're still young, but I want you to know my intentions are serious." "I'm glad to hear that, Tyler. You've always shown yourself to be a responsible and caring young man with Emma." "Thank you, Mr. Michael. And I want to say how much I admire the way you raised Emma. She's an incredible person, and I know a lot of that comes from the upbringing you gave her." Michael was moved by the young man's words. It was comforting to know his daughter had chosen someone who valued her and respected her family. The college years flew by quickly. Emma excelled as a top student, participated in research projects, and interned in different areas of psychology. Michael completed his technical course and was promoted at the shop, taking on the administrative management of the business. The bond between father and daughter only grew stronger. They had learned to communicate, support each other, and face challenges as a team. Emma matured into an independent and responsible woman, but never lost her closeness with her father. In her final year of college, Emma interned at a psychology clinic and discovered her true passion, child psychology. She deeply connected with the work of helping children and teens navigate emotional struggles. "Dad, I think I've found my calling in psychology. I want to work with children and teens." "What drew you to this field?" "I realized many of the issues we see in adults start in childhood or adolescence. If we can help kids early on, we can prevent a lot of future pain." "That makes sense. And do you relate to this age because of your own struggles as a teen?" "That too. I think all our experiences, the difficulties we went through when you and Mom separated, helped me better understand what kids feel in those situations." Michael felt proud seeing how Emma had transformed her own hardships into motivation to help others. It confirmed that every challenge they'd faced together had contributed to her growth. During her last semester, Emma began searching for job opportunities in child psychology. She wanted to start working right after graduation to gain practical experience. An opening came up at a child psychology clinic in Tampa, a junior psychologist position with room for growth. Emma applied and was selected for an interview. "Dad, I'm so nervous about this interview. What if they think I don't have enough experience?" "Emma, you have the best qualification possible, passion for what you do. That matters more than years of experience." "You really think so?" "I'm sure of it. Besides, everyone starts without experience at some point. What's important is showing you're willing to learn and dedicate yourself." The interview went well, and Emma was hired. She would start working at the clinic right after graduation. It was the beginning of her professional career, and she was radiant with happiness. Emma's graduation was a very special moment for the entire family. Michael, Jennifer, and Robert were present at the ceremony, along with Tyler and his family. It was the celebration of years of effort and dedication. "Emma, I'm so proud of you," Michael said during the graduation party. "Dad, None of this would have been possible without your support. You've been the best father I could have asked for. We were a team, sweetheart. We faced everything together. And we'll keep being a team, right? Always. Tyler took advantage of the graduation party to make a special request. He knelt in front of Emma and proposed. The surprise was total, but Emma accepted without hesitation. Tyler, of course I'll marry you. You're the love of my life. Michael was moved, seeing his daughter's happiness. Tyler had become like a son to him, and knowing Emma would be happy in her marriage put his mind at ease. The wedding preparations brought a new dynamic to the family. Emma wanted a simple ceremony, just with close family and friends. Michael insisted on helping with the costs even though he knew Tyler and his parents would contribute too. Dad, you don't have to spend too much. We want a simple celebration. Emma, it's my only daughter's wedding. I want it to be special, but I don't want you going into debt over it. I won't. I've saved up for important moments like this. The wedding took place at the neighborhood church where Emma had grown up, followed by a reception at a local steakhouse. It was exactly what the couple wanted: simple, cozy, and surrounded by loved ones. During the reception, Michael gave an emotional speech. Emma, 18 years ago, when you were born, I promised myself I'd be the best father I could be. I don't know if I fully kept that promise, but I know you've become an incredible woman. Tyler, you're not just gaining a wife, but a best friend, a partner, someone who will stand by you through every moment in life. Take care of each other. After the wedding, Emma and Tyler moved into a small apartment near the clinic where she worked. Michael was alone in the apartment for the first time in years, which was a difficult adjustment. Dad, are you going to be okay living alone? I will, sweetheart. Besides, you live close by. I can visit whenever I want. And you'll always be welcome. Michael really did have to adjust to life on his own. After so many years taking care of Emma, he wasn't sure what to do with all his free time. But little by little, he discovered new hobbies and activities. He joined a gym, started playing soccer with friends again, and even took guitar lessons, something he'd always wanted to learn. His social life improved too, and he even went on a few dates set up by friends. Emma visited her father regularly and always asked about his personal life. Dad, don't you want to date someone seriously? I do, Emma, but I want to find the right person, not just anyone to avoid being alone. And how will you know who's the right one? I think I'll know when I meet her. Someone who compliments me, shares my values, and understands that you'll always be a priority in my life. Dad, you know if you find someone nice, I'll be happy, right? I know, sweetheart, and when it happens, you'll be the first to know. A few months after the wedding, Emma found out she was pregnant. The news filled the whole family with joy, especially Michael, who was going to be a grandfather. Dad, you're going to be a grandpa. Michael hugged his daughter with tears in his eyes. The thought of becoming a grandfather moved him deeply. Emma, this is the best news you could have given me. How are you feeling? I'm happy but also nervous. What if I don't know how to be a good mom? Sweetheart, you're going to be a wonderful mother. You have love, patience, and wisdom. And besides, you'll have the support of the whole family. Dad, I want you to be very present in my child's life. I want them to have the same special bond with you that I do. You can count on me. I'll be the most involved grandpa in the world. Emma's pregnancy brought Michael even closer to her. He attended every doctor's appointment, helped prepare the baby's room, and studied up on newborn care. During this time, Michael met Christine, a nurse at the clinic where Emma had her prenatal visits. Christine was a 40-year-old divorced woman with a teenage son. The two met during one of Emma's appointments and struck up a conversation. Mr. Michael, what a coincidence running into you here again. Hi, Christine. I came to support my daughter at her prenatal visit. What a devoted father. My ex-husband never came to a single appointment when I was pregnant. Everyone shows affection differently, right? That's true, but it's rare to see fathers so involved. Michael and Christine began running into each other casually, and a natural friendship developed between them. Christine was kind, intelligent, and shared values similar to Michael's. Emma noticed the mutual interest between her father and Christine and decided to give them a little nudge. "Dad, why don't you invite Christine over for dinner one night?" "Emma, I don't want you meddling in my love life." "I'm not meddling. I'm just suggesting you be a little braver." "What if she's not interested?" "Dad, a woman doesn't spend that much time talking to a man unless she's at least a little interested." Michael took his daughter's advice and invited Christine to dinner. She accepted right away, and the evening was delightful. They discovered they had a lot in common and felt completely at ease in each other's company. The relationship between Michael and Christine progressed naturally. They started seeing each other regularly, meeting each other's families, and building a strong bond based on mutual respect and affection. Emma was overjoyed to see her father happy again. Christine was exactly the kind of person she had imagined would be good for Michael, warm, mature, and experienced in life. "Dad, I'm so happy for you. Christine is amazing." "Thank you, sweetheart. And she really likes you too. Are you two thinking about moving in together?" "We've been talking about it, but we want to take things slow, do this right." "And her son? How's he handling the relationship?" "Nathan is a great kid. He's adjusting well. And I'm learning how to be a father figure to him too." Months later, Michael and Christine decided to move in together. They rented a bigger house where everyone could feel comfortable. Emma and Tyler helped with the move, and the whole family gathered for a housewarming party. During the party, Michael looked around and saw everyone he loved together. Emma radiant and pregnant, Tyler being a loving son-in-law, Christine organizing everything with care, Nathan playing with the guests, Jennifer and Robert also there. It was the family he had built over the years, different from his original one, but just as loving and close-knit. A few weeks after the move, Emma went into labor. Michael waited at the hospital with Tyler, anxious for the arrival of his first grandchild. When the baby was born, a boy named Ethan, Michael was more emotional than he'd ever been. Holding his grandson for the first time was a magical moment. "Emma, he's perfect. Congratulations, sweetheart." "Thank you, Dad. Do you want to be the first to hold him?" Michael cradled the baby with all the care in the world. Ethan was tiny but already had a strong personality, crying when he wanted attention and calming down in the arms of family. "Hi, Ethan. I'm your grandpa, Michael. I'm going to teach you so many important things in life." With Ethan's birth, the family dynamic shifted once again. Michael became a completely devoted grandfather, visiting Emma and the baby every day, helping with his care, and melting at every smile from his grandson. Christine was also enchanted by Ethan and became a sort of honorary grandmother to the boy. Her son, Nathan, loved having a nephew to care for and play with. "Michael, I've never seen you so happy," Christine remarked as they watched Michael playing with Ethan. "It's true. Being a grandfather is a unique experience. It's like being a father, but without the worries and responsibilities. Just pure joy. And you're certainly enjoying it. Ethan is going to be very spoiled. Every grandchild should be spoiled by their grandparents. It's the rule." Emma returned to work at the clinic a few months after Ethan was born. Michael and Christine organized themselves to help with the baby's care, creating a strong support network for the new family. One day, when Ethan turned 1, Emma made a proposal that deeply moved Michael. "Dad, I want to throw a party to celebrate Ethan's first birthday, but I also want it to be a celebration of everything our family has built over the years." "What do you mean?" "I want to gather all the important people in our lives. You, Christine, Nathan, Mom, Robert, Tyler, and his family. I want to celebrate not just Ethan's birthday, but also our journey as a family." "Emma, that's a beautiful idea. I'll be so emotional." "Dad, do you remember that time when I was a teenager and we could barely talk to each other?" "Of course I remember. Who would have thought we'd make it here? That we'd build such a beautiful, close-knit family?" "It's true, sweetheart. And you know what moves me the most?" "What?" "Seeing that you've not only become an incredible woman, but also a wonderful mother. Ethan is so lucky to have you. And even luckier to have you as his grandpa." Ethan's first birthday party was truly special. The whole family was gathered, and there was an atmosphere of gratitude and love that touched everyone. During the celebration, Michael gave an impromptu speech that moved all the guests. Looking at all of you here today, I can't help but think about how life surprises us. A few years ago, I was a divorced father, insecure, unsure how to raise a teenage daughter alone. Today, I'm a fulfilled man with a beautiful growing family, watching my grandson take his first steps in life. Life teaches us that family isn't just about blood. It's about love, care, and presence. All of you are my family, and I'm grateful for each person here. Emma, my dear daughter, thank you for teaching me how to be a father. Tyler, thank you for taking such good care of my girl. Christine, thank you for teaching me to love again. Nathan, thank you for letting me be a father figure to you. Jennifer and Robert, thank you for still being part of our story. And Ethan, my beautiful grandson, thank you for bringing even more joy into our lives. Everyone was moved by Michael's words. It was the perfect summary of a journey that had begun with so many struggles and ended with such a beautiful outcome. After the party, when everyone had left, Michael and Emma stayed behind to clean up. Dad, remember that conversation I accidentally overheard when I was 16? Of course I do, sweetheart. One of the most embarrassing moments of my life. Back then, I was devastated, thinking you wanted to get rid of me. Now I realize you were just being human, expressing your insecurities. And you, my wise daughter, taught me that it's okay to have doubts, as long as we talk about them instead of keeping them to ourselves. Exactly, and look where we've ended up. Emma, can I confess something to you? Of course, Dad. That call you overheard was one of the best things that ever happened to our relationship. How so? Because it forced us to have that honest conversation we'd needed to have for so long. If you hadn't heard it, maybe we would have kept misunderstanding each other for years. That's true. And it taught me that sometimes the worst situations can lead to the best outcomes. Exactly. And it taught me that you're much more mature and understanding than I ever imagined. Father and daughter embraced, thinking about the journey they'd traveled together. They had started as two strangers trying to understand each other after a painful separation, gone through moments of misunderstanding and hurt, but managed to build a strong relationship based on love, respect, and honest communication. Ethan slept peacefully in his stroller, surrounded by the love of a family that had learned life's challenges could be overcome when faced with unity, patience, and lots of love. Michael looked at his daughter and grandson and knew he had fulfilled his mission as a father. Emma had become an independent, successful, and happy woman, and now he had the chance to be a present and loving grandfather to Ethan. The story that began with an accidentally overheard call and a hurt teenager had turned into a beautiful tale of how family love can overcome any obstacle. Michael and Emma proved that with patience, understanding, and lots of love, it's possible to build strong relationships even in the most challenging circumstances. And so, on a quiet evening in Tampa, as they put Ethan to sleep, father and daughter knew they had built something truly special. A family united by true love, ready to face together whatever challenges life might bring. End of story. Now tell us what you thought of the story and where you're watching from. If you have something to share with us, leave your honest words in the comments. Do you think Michael and Emma handled their difficulties in the best way? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to like and, most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other heartfelt stories.